ABC 15 breaking news.
Bullets fly on what should be a happy Friday afternoon, turning it into something dark. 5 people's lives ended in just minutes after 2 shootings, one in Phoenix, another in Scottsdale. ABC 15 with coverage from the ground and in the air. But first at 5, a big shakeup at the state capitol.
The head of the powerful Appropriations Committee suspended amid allegations of sexual harassment. And as of tonight, at least 6 women have come forward accusing Arizona State Representative Don Shooter of saying or doing something inappropriate.
ABC 15's Sonu Wasu is at the state capitol. And Sonu, what does the suspension mean?
Well, it means Representative Don Shooter will not be taking part in any budget hearings, any meetings, or making any decisions regarding the Budget Appropriations Committee at all until this investigation is fully completed.
I'm not casting judgment on Mr. Shooter at this time. Obviously, there have been a number of concerning allegations that have come forward.
The allegations of sexual harassment come from 3 Arizona lawmakers. Michelle Ugenti-Rita, who claims Shooter touched her inappropriately during a meeting. State Representatives Athena Salmon and Winona Benali also alleging Shooter made inappropriate comments and used sexually suggestive language toward them. Also coming forward, a Democratic lobbyist, the publisher of the Arizona Republic, and an intern for the Arizona Capitol Times. In a press conference announcing his suspension, Speaker of the House J.D. Mesnard says this action is not to cast judgment on Shooter, but to follow the process and make sure these very serious allegations are thoroughly investigated by an outside team of attorneys.
He deserves to have due process. We're going to let that play out. Again, what's come forward is concerning. It takes 2/3 of the legislature to expel a member.
Mesnard says it's way too soon to talk about that. Now, we did stop by John Shooter's Phoenix home today. No one came to the door. Now, earlier this week, Representative Shooter did release a statement denying all of these allegations, saying that he is the one who actually requested the investigation, and because of that, he cannot comment at this time. This investigation is expected to wrap up by the 2nd week of January. Now, just a few minutes ago, we did hear from the governor's office as well, Doug Ducey, saying that he supports this latest decision to suspend Shooter and that there should be no tolerance for sexual harassment. Reporting live from the state capitol, Sonu Wasu, ABC 15, Arizona.
Sonu, I know you'll keep us posted. Thank you. Now we want to get back to that breaking news. Shots fired in the valley on your left. An officer opening fire, killing a suspect in Phoenix. That happened near 3rd Avenue in McDowell. And then to your right, 4 people found dead inside a Scottsdale home.
And that's where we start our breaking news coverage. ABC 15's Chris Groh is live in Scottsdale near 100th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright.
And Chris, we know children are among the victims in this. Do police think they know what happened there?
Well, what we're being told is that they're not looking for a suspect. What they did find inside the home were 2 dead adults, but also 2 dead children. Now, I want to show you, this is sort of the crime scene here, but just to the right, really this all happened in a home behind this wall here. It's on 103rd Place. Now, what we have not been able to confirm, though, is the relationship between the adults and kids. We also, though, don't know if the shooter is one of the 4 deceased. Now, I just finished speaking to a woman who says she actually lives next door to the home, and she described to us who lives inside.
Nice couple, really nice couple. They just had a 2nd baby, really young, really young.
Now, other neighbors that we've spoken to have told us that really there's been nothing in the past couple of days or weeks that would have tipped them off to something like this happening in their home. We're still waiting on Scottsdale police to identify the victims found inside the home. As soon as we have more information, we'll bring it to you right away. Reporting live in Scottsdale, Chris Groh, ABC 15, Arizona.
Yeah, sad situation out there, Chris. Thank you. Sadly, another shooting to tell you about as well. This one in Central Phoenix.
Yeah, it involves a Phoenix police officer after those officers were walking into a situation that quickly turned into a hostage negotiation. ABC 15's Mary Ellen Resendez live in Phoenix tonight. And Mary Ellen, first of all, tell us, what do you know about the officer? Is he okay?
We're told the officer was uninjured in all of this. But here's what happened. According to neighbors, it started about a half hour before police arrived in the alley that you see right behind that tan house. There's an alley right there. And according to neighbors, they were hearing a lot of yelling and a lot of commotion and also a lot of curse words. Now, when police arrived, they say they actually found a man and a woman yelling at each other in that alley. Now, officers say the man then grabbed the woman, taking her hostage as he held a knife to her throat throat. And that's when they began to try and defuse the situation.
They were able to get the female to eventually step away from the male. The police continued their negotiations. However, the suspect charged at one of the officers with the knife. One officer fired his weapon and ended the threat.
Now, we're told that suspect is dead right here at the scene. The victim, we're told, is also okay. Police say they did know each other. They just don't know exactly what the relationship was between the two. Coming up new at 6, we're going through some home surveillance video to show you and see whether or not we could actually hear what was happening in that alley. We're going to bring that to you new at 6. Live in Phoenix, Mary Ellen Resendez, ABC 15, Arizona.
Mary Ellen, thank you. Excuse me, our newsroom continuing to gather information on both of these stories, so stick with ABC 15 for the latest on air, online, and on our ABC 15 mobile app.
The stories are true. Comedian Louis C.K. saying the sexual misconduct allegations against him all happened. He is responding after a New York Times report. 5 women say he crossed the line with them. The comedian apologizing, saying he's remorseful and has tried to learn from his irresponsible behavior. More shocking allegations tonight. Olympic gymnast Aly Raisman admits she was one of the athletes sexually abused by a former USA gymnastics doctor. Raisman telling 60 Minutes about the abuse, saying she started getting so-called treatment from Larry Nassar when she was 15 years old. Raisman joins former teammate Michaela Maroney in accusing Nassar of abuse. Nassar faces several counts of sexual misconduct, and he is about to be sentenced after pleading guilty to possession of child porn.
New information just in after a deadly drive-by shooting in North Phoenix. Officers telling us 25-year-old Kyle Begley was talking with a man in his driveway near 7th Avenue in the 101 when that man got into a car and started shooting before driving off. Begley was killed. Not a lot for officers to go on tonight, only that the suspect was driving an older silver car.
It's been more than 20 years since the famous Phoenix Lights mystery. Back in 1997, thousands saw the lights above the Phoenix skyline. 20 years later, some say there's still no clear answer for exactly what happened. This weekend, we're expecting to see more lights in the sky, but this time we know what they are.
Yes, we definitely do. ABC 15's Aldo Vasquez taking action to let you know how to catch an out-of-this-world phenomenon.
When it comes to outer space, almost anything is possible, but not everything is likely. Tonight, if you see flashing lights up above, you can bet it's the Taurid meteor shower.
They should be amazed and stare in wonder at the beauty of the night sky.
Claude Hayes, manager of the Gilbert Rotary Centennial Observatory, says if you know where to look, it'll be a sight to see.
You'll see probably 30 to 40 in an hour.
The Arizona Challenger Space Center tells me most, however, will be faint, and if you're lucky, you'll see a few flashes.
There will be maybe 2 or 3 that might be very bright.
To really catch it in its full glory, you'll want to head east and away from the city lights.
The best time to catch this meteor shower will be just right after midnight. You're going to want to focus on the east where Taurus will be rising and look for this cluster of stars known as the Pleiades. Now, if you're like me and don't know your constellations as well, you can always download one of the many stargazing apps to guide you.
The meteor shower will peak tonight and tomorrow. Just don't expect it to look like something out of a light festival in the sky. The moon will also make it harder to see them.
They're very short and brief, but if you go to a dark site, it is fun to see them because you will see quite a few.
In Gilbert, Aldo Vasquez, ABC 15, Arizona.
And we got to keep these clouds away too. Right now we're tracking some high thin ones starting to move in from the southwest. So more of this overnight tonight, and then tomorrow we're going to start to clear that forecast out as we head through the day. But partly cloudy skies all through our evening tonight, down into the 70s as early as 7 p.m. for Phoenix, and holding on to the 70s for much of your Friday night forecast. It's going to be nice and mild out there before we see those 60s kick in after midnight. Now we clear the skies out tomorrow, mostly sunny and dry. Temperatures are climbing through our Veterans Day weekend as well and into early next week. And coming up in just a bit, we're going to talk about how close we could get to 90.
The Air Force is now launching a review into why the Texas church shooter's domestic violence conviction was never passed on to the FBI. Air Force says it is doing a full-scale review of the case and all others like it. The report on the Texas gunman is expected to be done by next week. The Department of Defense Inspector General is also investigating procedures across all military branches.
Developing now, former Arizona Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords suing the Trump administration for failing to turn over documents that could show the NRA's influence guidance on gun policies. The Giffords Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence filed a lawsuit against the ATF, claiming the Bureau refused to submit requested information about communication between the White House and the NRA.
Popping across the valley, new billboards ahead of Veterans Day, encouraging you to make time in your life to help veterans. The Got 10 Minutes for a Vet campaign wants to bring the human connection to servicemen and women struggling to transition to civilian life. Maricopa County, one of 3 communities to launch the initiative, along with South Bend, Indiana, and San Diego. Meanwhile, Governor Doug Ducey urging the federal government to make housing Arizona's veterans a priority. State lawmakers set aside money for new nursing homes for veterans in Yuma and Flagstaff, but they can't be built unless the federal government kicks in some money as well. Governor Ducey sending a letter to the VA secretary saying existing homes in Phoenix and Tucson fall far short of what's needed.
Honored for his lifetime of service, today Arizona's veterans honor Senator John McCain with an award from Herozona. The ceremony happening this afternoon at the Phoenix Convention Center, but the senator was not attending.
Live look now at Phoenix International Raceway. Coming up, all the fun events you could expect as NASCAR takes over the valley.
And revving the engine got this guy stuck in the mud. Brand new video of this crazy high-speed chase.
Veterans Day brings all kinds of deals and freebies for our heroes. I'm going to tell you about some free and cheap ones.
Growing marijuana, it is serious business, and going to cannabis college is the way many people get ahead in the pot industry. All new tonight at 10, we go inside a class training future bud tenders on their way to getting their dope degree. That is tonight, only on ABC 15 News at 10. It is the loudest weekend in sports. NASCAR making a pit stop in the valley for the Can-Am 500.
And we know how loyal the fans are. And Phoenix International Raceway has worked hard to give them an event like they've never experienced before. ABC 15's Cameron Polam joining us live in one of the newest viewing areas of the track.
Yeah, you know what? We're here on the outside deck of the curved lounge. This is the track's newest and swankiest way to view the race. You can catch some fresh air outdoors, or you can head inside and enjoy the multi-million-dollar upgrade with catered food, multiple bars, and hey, that's one heck of a view they're enjoying there too. Now, outside the tracks, fans can snap pictures from inside the drivers' cars and even meet the drivers themselves during autograph sessions that run throughout the day. Hungry? Well, there's plenty to choose from. We of course recommend barbecue, but there really is something for everyone. Want to feel what it's like to be in pit row? There's also a virtual pit crew experience where fans compete against the clock to change tires and win the race. Fans we spoke with can't get enough of 2 things, the weather and the cars.
The only way you can get better is if I could crawl underneath it and actually have a look around at it, but it doesn't get much better than this.
Now, gates open at 9 for the Ticket Galaxy 200 Xfinity race, kicking off at 1:30. Now, many fans are obviously here to say goodbye to Dale Jr., and I've got a tip if you want to spot him. Now, Dale Jr. is an avid cyclist, and he's known to take a ride around the grounds every day. We actually saw him earlier today ride right past us, so if you're lucky, you might catch a glimpse of the man himself. In Avondale, I'm Cameron Polam, ABC 15 Arizona.
Very cool tip. Bring your bike out there and then you can chase him and maybe, hang out and talk to him. I don't know if he'll do that on the ride or not, but very good. Cameron, awesome.
I don't think I'm cool enough.
Yeah. We'll work on it.
All right, well, a joyride that got him stuck in the mud. A high-speed chase. This is out of Oklahoma. The driver hopping on and off the freeway, driving through neighborhoods, and at one point even seems to stop and ask a mailman for directions. The driver then takes the truck off-road, driving through fields, even throwing it in reverse at times, before he backs into a swamp and then gets stuck. But that doesn't stop him. Holding his pants up, the crook makes a run for it. He's eventually tased and taken into custody. Well, you've probably seen it on Twitter, that little blue check mark next to some people's names. It means the person is verified, meaning they're real, not that they're necessarily important or that Twitter endorses them. Well, today, Twitter announced it will stop doing that, at least for a while, after some people started criticizing Twitter because a white nationalist account was verified.
On November 11th, all military members can come right here to Great Clips and score a free haircut. Don't need one on that day? You can still come in and get a card to use later anytime before December 31st. Head over to Burns Dentistry in Sun City on Saturday from 8 to 1. Veterans will get a free cleaning, extraction, or filling. This is only valid at the Sun City West location and it tends to fill up fast, so get there early. Now that you're all cleaned up, time to get out to celebrate. The U.S. National Park Service is waiving fees for veterans the whole weekend, so that means you can get into a ton of national parks like the Grand Canyon. Prefer to relax instead? Head on over to Ultrastar Multitainment Center at Ock-Chin Circle to see a movie for free. It's valid all the way through Sunday. Finally, shop at Lowe's, Home Depot, and Target on Saturday and you'll score 10% off. And a bigger discount at Walgreens. Veterans, active duty military, and their immediate family members get up to 20% off. For most of these deals, you're going to need to show proof of service, so have that ID ready. There are so many free and cheap events happening all across the valley for our veterans, so whether you want food or fun, go to our website, abc15.com/smartshopper.
Oh, it's Veterans Day, so you know what that means. Thanksgiving right around the corner, 2 weeks in fact, but it's Christmas at Scottsdale Fashion Square already. HGTV bringing back Santa headquarters. Kids can take a selfie with Santa or an elf, explore using Elf Ray Vision, and see where they land on the naughty or nice meter. It's open now through Christmas Eve.
Reports are Santa also has a very modern sleigh these days. You can check it out there as well.
It's a red Tesla.
Really? It's very green energy.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
So are the reindeer for that matter, but you know, whatever.
If you were Santa, if you were Mrs. Claus.
That's what I'd be driving.
Yeah, I get
sure.
it. That makes sense.
All right, well, we're keeping an eye on the high country too. We need some snow up there, right? I mean, even us in Phoenix, we want to go escape and get in on the snow. There's the live look from Snowball.
Struggling.
They're struggling. There's just a little bit left up there. They've already delayed the opening once. We're going to keep a close eye on what's happening up there, because if it stays this warm, it is going to be really hard for them to open next week too. Let's take a look at those temperatures. 56 right now in Flagstaff. It's 60 up at the Grand Canyon, 70 in Winslow. Even tonight, these spots, yeah, some of them will freeze, but it's only a couple of hours of freezing temperatures, and you need it a lot longer than that. In the Flagstaff area, down to 30 tonight, 23 up at the Grand Canyon, 31 at Window Rock, and we're looking at 40s in Sedona and Payson. Now there's clouds and radar. A few clouds starting to stream in already right now, and we're going to get more of that overnight. By tomorrow, we'll start to see these clouds lift out. But here's 1 o'clock in the morning. The clouds coming in. We go into tomorrow morning and they start to move out of the area. We could still see some up in the high country. And now this is Sunday, 6:30 a.m. Another disturbance pushing that moisture in. More clouds throughout the day Sunday. Sunday looking partly to mostly cloudy across our state, but still no chances for rain or snow up north. There's a live look right now from Phoenix Children's Hospital cam over Mummy Mountain. We're at 83 degrees, humidity just 20%. It is dry and winds are out of the west-northwest at 8 miles per hour. Got a few 80s on the map right now. Outlying areas though dropping into the 70s. So we're talking Fountain Hills, Cave Creek, Anthem in the 70s. Lows tonight up there in the 50s. In fact, we got a lot of 50s spread across the valley tonight. Phoenix Sky Harbor getting down to about 61, but pretty much every other valley spot seeing those lows in the 50s and highs tomorrow back in the 80s. Several degrees above average for this time of year, which is 78 for Phoenix. So let's talk about that Veterans Day. The parade starts at 11 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to be in the mid 70s. It's going to be nice, mostly sunny skies, warm into the afternoon, 84 around 3, and still holding on to 80 at 6 before we see those 70s kick in tomorrow night. Across the state, highs are going to reach the 70s in Prescott, Sedona, and Payson, 60s up along the rim, out toward the Four Corners, 66 in Window Rock, and down south of the valley into Tucson, more of those mid 80s. Now it's going to get warmer each day. So tomorrow 84, 86 on Sunday, 88 on Monday. We need to stop it there and not hit those 90s. It's going to be awfully close on Monday, but then some cooler air will start to push in and we'll shave a couple of degrees off these temperatures each day back into the low 80s by the end of next week.
Keeping her memory alive. All new at 5, a veteran works to get memorabilia illustrating an Army nurse's life back to her family.
Arizona front and center, an explosive court case pitting an Olympic hopeful against her own U of A coach. How this young woman took a big risk to get her alleged threats recorded. See the interrogation video and the mind games in this heart-pounding 2020. That's tonight at 9 on ABC 15.
All new at 5, dog tags, letters, and photos illustrating the life of an Army nurse. After buying a chest at a flea market, a Korean War vet is working to get the mementos back to her family. Everything inside, from Army documentation to personal letters, paint the picture of Margaret Watlingen's life. She was born in 1912, serving as an Army nurse in World War II. Veteran Pete Perrieta knows the importance of family history as he holds on to his own father's wartime belongings.
we're lucky to, you know, still have that in the family. And to see this lost and turned up, this ended up being in like a storage locker, this cabinet was, and forgotten about.
Oh, so fascinating. He is now working to keep Margaret's memory alive in the spirit of Veterans Day.
Trending now, she is a woman of many talents. A painting by singer Britney Spears sold for $10,000. The artwork up for bid at a Vegas Cares auction. The funds go to victims and first responders of the Las Vegas mass shooting. Spears has had a residency in Vegas for several years. Taylor Swift's 6th studio album is here. Reputation dropped late last night. It has 15 tracks. One track is a collaboration with singer Ed Sheeran and rapper Future called Endgame. And get ready for more Star Wars. Writer-director Rian Johnson says The Last Jedi, opening next month, will start a new Star Wars trilogy. No word just yet on when the rest of those films will hit theaters.
All new at 6, you've probably seen them. Self-driving cars picking up speed, getting popular. But is the technology really safe? We're taking action to find out. And making sure everybody has a chance to take the stage. The new Valley program letting stars shine bright.
Money cards at Walmart, supplements for joint pain. Were you a customer of Bank of America? Joe Ducey here. Coming up new at 6, ways to make money off of lawsuit settlements.
All right, checking your forecast. 80s, 80s, 80s. Woo! Yeah.
Can't complain about that.
I know. Upper 80s by the start of next week. 88 degrees by Monday. We'll stop it there. We're putting the brakes on it. We need those low 80s back by the end of next week. We'll get them, but that's still above average. Average for this time of year is like 78 degrees. By next week, it'll be down in the mid-70s.
Such a great time of year.
Yeah,
Love it.
I'm okay with any number as long as it has an 8. It starts with an 8. I'm good with it. So I don't mind that we're above average.
World News is up next.
We'll see you at 6.